Tonight, we report on why a Quincy police clerk obtained a protection order and how REC Silicon waits to see if they get a refund or have to pay more taxes. What's going on in sports, Bob?
Big Ben women's basketball inked its top 2 recruits. Stick around to find out who they are and how they'll fit into the Lady Vikings system. Let's take a look at our Weather Center forecast.
Good to be with you, everybody. Unsettled weather impacting much of the area. I'll let you know in just a few moments how the Easter weekend is panning out.
I'm Alan Troop. Stay tuned for all of this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
A Quincy police clerk claims a sergeant threatened her with a knife when she spoke with the chief about a problem with another co-worker. A visiting Lincoln County judge issued a protection order preventing Police Sergeant Dan Dops from contacting or keeping Clerk Diana Gaulis under surveillance. But it doesn't prevent him from being near her. Dops' attorney, Brian Chase, said Dops denied the allegations. The threat allegedly happened on March 11th after Gonzalez complained to Police Chief Bob Heimbach about a detective. The chief reportedly assigned Dops to handle the problem. According to court records, she claims she was sitting at her desk when she heard Dops walk behind her and say, "Snitches get stitches," while holding a knife. Heimbach said he couldn't comment on the dispute. He confirmed both Dops and Gonzalez are still employed at the police department. Dops is on paid administrative leave while the Ephrata Police Department conducts an investigation. Soap Lake is gearing up for its annual hydroplane regatta in June. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
Seattle Dragon Ski Association, which has about 100 members, hauled in several boats of all sizes last weekend to promote the Soap Lake Regatta. The races are scheduled to kick off on the lake June 14th for Father's Day weekend. Lenny Baker, Commodore of Seattle Dragon Ski, was on hand at the boat show and shine at Soap Lake's East Beach. He talked about the event.
It's an opportunity for us to support the community, Soap Lake, for our upcoming race.
Baker said the club's local representative, Terry Anderson, has been a good help at promoting the event locally.
We rejuvenated a race that was probably 86 or thereabouts was the last time that we raced here. And Terry's worked hard to put this together for us, works hand in hand with our club.
Soap Lake city and business officials believe the regatta will bring visitors to the shores of Soap Lake, providing an economic boost to the business community. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
Thanks, Jeff. Tyson Hill is seeking a full term as Grant County District Court Judge. Hill announced his candidacy for the position Monday. He was appointed by the Grant County Commissioners to the newly created position in April 2013 and started his term in July. The former deputy prosecuting attorney was one of 3 finalists for the position and needs to win November's election to keep the position. Hill said, "I am passionate about our justice system and the impact it has on our community. I've really enjoyed the work so far, but I'm just getting started." Hill volunteers in his church and has volunteered for community events such as Big Bend Community College's Substance Abuse Awareness Day. Grant County and REC Silicon officials are awaiting a decision to determine whether the company owes more in property taxes. The State Department of Revenue's Board of Tax Appeals is expected to issue a decision within 2 months about whether REC will need to pay roughly $9 million in property taxes from last year. The board held a hearing to determine whether the county assessed the property at REC Silicon's Moses Lake plants correctly. The company felt the property with the plant should be valued at $220 million, and the county felt it was worth $1.2 billion. REC Silicon has stated they hope to receive a $3.7 million refund with the state's decision that the plant is only worth $220 million. An Ephrata police officer received a different message when he called a potential phone scam artist. The scam began with a call to a man on Crest Drive. A voicemail message said it was the IRS calling and asking him to call back urgently. According to Ephrata police records, the officer called the number left in the voicemail, and he talked to a Middle Eastern man claiming to be IRS Special Agent Eric. The officer spoke with Eric, and the conversation ended with the officer being called profanities and Eric hanging up. Now let's take a look at people currently being sought out by the Grant County Sheriff's Office.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We will be back after this.
DQ $5 lunch. I'm really into it. One thing I can't decide. Is it chicken strips, fries, and a drink with a free sundae, or do you get a sundae with free chicken strips, fries, and a drink? Trick question. Both answers are correct.
Exactly, Sam. It's Fananomics. Entree, fries, drink, plus a sundae. The $5 lunch, only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
At Moses Lake Community Health Center, we have had the privilege to serve the local communities since 1978.
What I like about working at this clinic more than any other clinic that I've worked at is the patient care. With the patient care team that we've assembled, it allows us to take care of as many facets of the patient and their family's needs.
Please take the opportunity to experience the high-quality care provided at our clinics.
Good to be with you, everybody. I'm Ceci Gutierrez with your local weather report from the One News Weather Center. And it is brought to you by your Bud Clary Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Let's begin with a quick look at your headlines across the area. Rain and mountain snow in the forecast. And along our immediate region, a slight chance for showers overnight tonight, but mostly it will be cloudy out there, and also the potential for blowing dust along the basin. And that weather system to impact the region, promising to bring widespread rain, especially as we head into this Thursday afternoon hours into the overnight and Friday morning. And that's when we could potentially see that mountain snow. Mild and dry, so very good news for this Easter weekend. Fine conditions for this celebration. Temperatures in the lower 60s, topping out across Ephrata this afternoon. Lower 50s was the low temperature, or the sunset, at 7:47. Now Moses Lake registered at 65, the high 54, the low, and around 7:49 was the sunset. Conditions right outside your door, some cloud cover across the area, and also temperatures around the lower 60s. The wind does remain a bit strong and gusty, sustained from the northwest at around 17 miles per hour. As the night progresses, we should expect these winds to subside between 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, conditions across inland northwest with that precipitation and in the form of rain, a mix, and even some snow across the higher elevations. Mostly cloudy skies dominating much of the area, and also that rain entering the coastline. Heavy rains expected with the system as we head into this Wednesday, and now by Thursday afternoon, we should expect widespread rain across our area into inland northwest, and also overnight hours into Friday is when that snow is expected to develop. Wednesday afternoon across the area inland northwest with gray skies, potential for showers, and also across the northwestern portion of the area. Zooming in a bit closer across the basin, gray skies expected to continue for this Wednesday afternoon, and these temperatures remaining in the mid to lower 60s. Here's a quick look at the extended forecast. For this Thursday is when the most unsettled scenario is anticipated, especially Thursday afternoon. Friday, wrapping up the work week with quiet weather, and then for Easter weekend, pretty nice. This segment brought to you by your Bud Clary Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. We'll be right back with sports.
It's been called the most inspiring vehicle ever made, boasting a 5-star safety rating and named as a top safety pick. It's also done more to help our environment than any other car in the world. It's Toyota's Prius. Now with your choice of the regular model, the larger Prius V, or the smaller Prius C. Saving fuel, reducing harmful CO2 emissions, and offered to you with excellent savings. Toyota's Prius family. Drive one today at any of your Inland Empire Toyota dealers. Toyota. Let's go places.
Are you worried that your home might not meet today's safety standards? Eastern Washington Home Inspection standards for home safety are among the highest in the industry. We provide the highest level of inspection service and provide a detailed report with digital photos of any structural damage or other problems that might make your home unsafe. Our head inspector, Dennis Chamberlain, along with his son Cody, are fully qualified inspectors who make your safety their priority. We inspect for your peace of mind. Call us at 509-347-6425.
Welcome back. I'm Bob Kirkpatrick with today's sports. Big Bend women's basketball received great news when the Lady Vikings inked their top 2 recruits. Brooke Bowers and Chelsea Baker, both highly touted athletes out of Idaho, are expected to make big contributions to the team this year. Athletic director and coach of the team, Preston Wilkes, was thrilled to get their signatures on the dotted line.
Our first commit was to get a kid that I actually recruited the year before out of Burley, Brooke Bowers. She was a great 3-sport athlete in high school, all conference in basketball and volleyball. And coming out of high school, she felt like maybe she wanted to just devote her time to volleyball. But once volleyball season got over, she came and helped us out in January, February when our numbers got short, because I don't know if you remember, we got down to 8 kids last year. And so she came in and helped us out and kind of fell in love again with basketball. And so when basketball season was done, she happened to be in my office right here, and we were talking, and she says that, hey, I think I made a mistake not playing basketball. And I said, well, what do you think about next year? She goes, I'd really like to be on your team. And I was like, of course you can be on our team, because I saw, glimpses of greatness when she was practicing with us in January, February. And then secondly, we got a commitment from one of her former teammates, Chelsea Baker. She's from Burley. She just is going to graduate this year. Was named to the All-State team again 2 years in a row. She surpassed 1,000 points, I think, clear back in early January. Really good scorer, great all-around player, and we were able to get a commitment out.
Wilkes expects Bowers and Baker to make smooth transitions from high school to college ball, and says they will mesh well with their new teammates as they played with a few of the Lady Vikings who hail from Burley as well. The Seattle Mariners picked up a win in a strange outing against the Texas Rangers last night. Mike Zunino homered an inning before adding an RBI single in Seattle's strange 6-run outburst that included 3 Texas Ranger errors and a replay reversal that gave the Mariners a run in their 7-1 victory Monday night. The Mariners went ahead to stay in the 5th on Zunino's solo homer off Colby Lewis, who made his first big league start 21 months after elbow and hip operations. Seattle's 6th-run 6 got started when Robinson Cano hit a leadoff single and scored on Michael Saunders' triple to left center. Gonzaga assistant women's basketball coach Lisa Fortier has been promoted to head coach. She was named Monday to replace Kelly Graves, who spent 14 years at Gonzaga before he was hired at Oregon earlier this month. Fortier has coached at Gonzaga for 7 seasons, including the Bulldogs' current run of 6 consecutive trips to the NCAA tournament. Terms of her contract were not disclosed. Well, that's it for sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Kono. I am your local Ephrata Farmers Insurance Agent. Here at Cheryl Kono Insurance Agency, our customers always come first. We don't just work here, we live here. Please stop by the office, call, email, or Facebook me for a free auto, home, life, business, or farm and ranch quote today. We are insurance. We are farmers. Come in for a free quote today. We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.
My mom was never comfortable in any of her chairs. Getting in and out of them was hard on her joints. We found a solution at In-Home Medical. They have a great selection of lift chairs. Many cost less than national brand recliners, some even featuring heating and vibration for added comfort. They can take her from a flat sleeping position to nearly standing. We found everything she needs for a much better quality of life at In-Home Medical.
Our spotlight story tonight is about Quincy's upcoming construction endeavor. Here with the story is Jeff Chu.
Construction equipment is preparing ground on a 200-acre site for Microsoft Corporation's latest expansion project in Quincy. Microsoft's new addition could be as big as 1 million square feet based on the acreage, according to Port of Quincy spokesman Pat Boss. Microsoft recently purchased the land from the Port of Quincy for $11 million. Once completed, Microsoft will have about 400 employees in Quincy.
Microsoft came to Quincy in 2006. They've gone through several iterations. They did their original building in Quincy it was about a 500,000 square foot building in 2006. They came back again around 2009, did some other buildings in 2009, 2010, did a little bit more in 2011, 2012, and now they've bought 200 acres to do another large facility. And so Microsoft will have one of the biggest data center campuses in the world in Quincy.
The new data center will allow Microsoft to further expand its cloud technology. Cloud technology allows computer users to pull data stored on other servers, such as Microsoft's.
They've really committed to doing a huge amount of cloud computing. They like Quincy because of the power infrastructure, the fiber optics, the access to hydropower, and it's close to their headquarters.
Quincy has 5 other massive data centers, many adjacent to farmland. Yahoo has roughly 70 acres, with about 25 acres left to develop. Its facility is about 300,000 square feet. Dell employs about 50 in its 350,000 square foot data center. Intuit, with roughly 50 employees, operates in 240,000 square feet. Sabi Data Centers Intergate Quincy is a 525,000 square foot data center. Vantage Data Centers 370,000 square feet is on 68 acres.
So 6 total data centers in Quincy. It's one of the biggest clusters in the West. It's got more data center capacity, storage than at most any place in the western U.S.
Through Grant County Public Utility District, power and fiber technology has been greatly improved to serve present and future data center growth in Quincy.
There's huge amounts of power redundancy, so it's very rarely a situation where you have all the power go off in Quincy, because there's triple power redundancy in Quincy, and then with the fiber optics, you've got double fiber redundancy.
Another new addition to the Port of Quincy's growing techno-manufacturing complex is Amway Neutralite. Amway, which employs about 100 in Quincy, recently completed and took operation of a new facility worth about $50 million.
They look at this area as being not only important for their supply chain in terms of shipping to Asia and then across the country, but also because of the fact that they can actually buy product from some of the local farmers.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
We will be right back after this.
Game time.
Papa's in the house.
Wow, what's all this?
I'm all about stats. For instance, have I got some numbers for you? Papa John's, a leader in online ordering.
You bet, Jim.
You were the first pizza company to offer it nationwide. What's the secret?
Jim, it's the pizza.
To celebrate our online leadership, get Papa John's new double pepperoni and bacon pizza for just $12.
Better ingredients,
better pizza,
and a better way to get it, papajohns.com.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
With cattle in Grant County and microbrews across the state, a new federal proposal is causing concern. A proposed federal rule would make it harder for breweries to sell leftover grains as animal feed instead of throwing them away. Don Ford shows us that involves cows and beer.
Russian River Brewing Company in Santa Rosa is known worldwide for its beer. Beer that is brewed right here behind the bar. Grain is one of the main ingredients.
Brew batches every, couple times a week, so we're going to have a lot of grain left over that's usable.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, of course, or in this case, cattle feed. The brewery needs to get rid of it, and cows love to eat it. It's a match made in heaven.
It's a win-win situation for everybody.
Or at least it was. Rancher Rick Olaf says proposed FDA regulations may outlaw the practice unless expensive federal oversight is enacted to monitor the handling of the grain.
Once they get the foot in the door and they start regulating something, then there's a whole mess of paperwork that follows behind it.
It's one more step in the process that we don't really have room for.
Cattlemen and brewers both fear the additional cost and workload of tracking the spent grain could be too much and just end up sending it to the landfill. Nobody thinks that's a good idea. Rick says this stuff is so nutritious and sweet, he calls it cow candy.
Wow.
Wow, what does it taste like?
Good.
Oh, brother. The FDA is still reviewing the details of the proposed regulation, and revised language could be published by this summer.
Sky gazers in North and South America were treated to a full lunar eclipse, at least those fortunate enough to have clear skies. The moon was eclipsed by the Earth's shadow early Tuesday, beginning around 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for 5.5 hours. The total phase of the eclipse lasted just 78 minutes. For some, the moon appeared red-orange because of all the sunsets and sunrises shimmering from Earth, thus the name Blood Moon. It's the first of 4 eclipses this year and the first of 4 total lunar eclipses this year and next. In the meantime, get ready for a solar eclipse in 2 weeks. NASA got good news Tuesday. Its moon-orbiting spacecraft, LA-D, survived the eclipse. Scientists had feared LA-D might freeze up in the cold darkness. The Seattle Times reports that Washington State Commissioner of Public Lands Peter Goldmark has accepted $100,000 in campaign contributions from timber and wood product companies, despite a previous campaign pledge that he would not accept cash from industries that he would regulate. When running to become the state's top logging regulator in 2008, Goldmark said it was reprehensible for his opponent, Doug Sutherland, to accept money from timber harvesters. The Democrat Goldmark defeated Sutherland, the Republican incumbent. Goldmark was reelected in 2012. Goldmark says he didn't sustain his campaign pledge because he is not influenced by money from the timber industry. But some environmentalists who support his campaign now say Goldmark has grown too close to timber companies. Tempers have cooled over a cattle dispute that threatened to turn violent in Nevada. The Bureau of Land Management started rounding up cattle owned by a family that has been ranching since the 1800s. The BLM said Cliven Bundy's cattle were grazing illegally on federal land, and he owed the government about $1 million in back fees. Armed militia groups sided with Bundy. Rather than risk violence, the BLM called off the roundup on Saturday and returned 300 head of cattle. But Democrat and Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who represents Nevada, said this isn't the end of the issue.
Well, it's not over. We can't have in America people that violate the law and just walk away from it. So it's not over.
And that's going to do it for us here at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.